welcome. Apparently being stuck on the interstate for a multitude of hours has become a new trend in 2022. Now here in the South we don't really have a lot of blizzards. There was one in 2014 called the Snowpocalypse that I myself partook in. But other than that, mainly we just have to deal with downed trees from thunderstorms, tornadoes, things like that. So today I'm going to go through the gear that I keep in my truck that kind of gives me peace of mind so I don't have to worry about being stuck in those type of situations. The first item is my air compressor and tire repair kit, and I keep this underneath the back seat of my truck. This particular air compressor, it's a Slime model air compressor, and I've had it for about 10 years and it works great. I took and extended the cord out so that when it's plugged into my truck, it'll actually reach the tires on my boat trailer. Then inside my tire repair kit, I've got plugs, patches, valve stems, Schrader valves, tools to install the plugs, and an air pressure gauge. And the case that it's in is actually just an old tool case. I took and cut foam for it to fit everything in there. So here's a look inside the back of my truck. I've got my bug out bike, and I had a flat yesterday, so my tire's still back here. Then I've got a high lift jack, and then over here I've got a tool case, and in the bag I've got a fan belt, things like that, as well as tow straps. Then I've got a jack and 4-ways. And then this is my Get Stranded on the Road kit. I've got a dry box that's got various fire making materials in it. Got a folding saw, 2 pairs of gloves, these being work gloves, and then I've got a set of extreme cold weather gloves, tinder bundle, a jug of water, and then I've got some bottled water. I've got a jet stove and the fuel canister. I've got a mess kit. It has a little pot inside of it. And inside that pot I've got oatmeal, dried beans, and some cornmeal. In this bag I've got an MRE, got some freeze-dried food, and then I've got some stuff like this that I don't have to heat up, and a can of Beanie Weenies. Then I've got a Stanley thermos, and then I've got a stainless steel cup that I can put on my jet stove and heat stuff up with, and then put hot liquid in here so I don't have to keep using the stove. Got some heavy-duty rope, and then I've just got some nylon rope. Water filtration. In this I've got garbage bags, rags, and then Ziploc baggies. Heavy duty poncho. Then I've got another dry box. This one's got a space blanket in it, water purification tablets, and a compass and things like that in it. Then I've got a 2-person tent and stakes and rope and all that kind of stuff in here in case I have to abandon my vehicle. Then I have a tarp that is high visibility on one side and acts as a space blanket on the other. Then I have a small knife with an extra ferro rod. Then I've got a bottle I can boil water in, as well as a couple of cans of Sterno. Then I've got a Tyvek suit in here apparently in case, a pandemic hits. What are the odds of that happening? So that's everything in my severe weather vehicle preparedness kit. So out of all that gear and equipment, the single most important piece of equipment I have is not any of it, because the single most important piece of equipment I have is my common sense. My common sense is going to tell me not to travel in any kind of severe weather, whether it be a snowstorm, thunderstorm, tornado, or act of God. That's just all there is to it. Now, as for the people who are trying to get home from work during these events, I'll give you 2 examples of this. One, the tornadoes that went through Kentucky and Illinois. Whether or not they were told they couldn't leave or they'd be fired or what have you is not up to me to decide. I wasn't there. That's up for the courts to decide. Now, just recently, the company that was destroyed said that they were firing 250 employees. So it's one of them type of situations, damned if you do, damned if you don't. So if you stayed there and worked or whatever and didn't get killed, you got fired anyway. So, all right, now event number 2 is dealing with common sense. Back in 2014, we had an event here called Snowpocalypse or Snowmageddon. And if you look it up, you'll still see the pictures that compare Birmingham and Atlanta to the scene from The Walking Dead where he's riding in on the horse. I was at work that day, my fiance was at work that day, and we knew it was going to snow going in, and we both agreed that if it started coming down, we'd both leave. So after being at work for a couple hours, it started snowing a little bit. Then it started sticking to the parking lot. Then it started sticking to the road. And I myself decided it was time for me to go. So I informed my supervisor, hey, look, I'm leaving. And a couple of people who overheard my conversation said they were leaving too. And he proceeded to call his higher ups and they said, well, no, we're not ready to let everybody go yet. I'm like, well, you have to discipline me or whatever you have to do. I'm leaving. And on my way out, I called my fiance. And she called me back and said she was kind of going through the same spiel. And I told her to go ahead and leave and we would deal with the consequences later. 2 days later, when we were able to get back to work, I talked to the people who didn't leave, and it took them upwards of 13 hours to get home. The people who worked in the front office actually didn't make it home. They were stuck there for 2 days living out of a vending machine. And in the meantime, the National Guard was called in to clear the interstates of all the cars that were abandoned on the interstate because the roads were so impassable. And that's what I mean by using your common sense. If it tells you to get out, get out. So that's my little spiel on using your vehicle preparedness kit and common sense. Thank y'all for watching. We'll see y'all next time.